In Part A of Acting Within the Law, we covered the basic arrest procedure and use of reasonable force. Now, in Part B, we'll cover our duty of care for the detained person and comment on searches and collecting evidence. Remember to always work within your state or territory laws, and some property groups have site-specific requirements. For example, corporate sites may not allow any arrests or pursuits. After arresting someone, we have a legal duty to care for the person's well-being. This is called a duty of reasonable care. Note, if you chase someone, then you've started the arrest process. So be careful not to cause harm, especially if you're pursuing someone. Keep them safe and be alert to any medical conditions, including first aid. Of course, you'll wear gloves if there's any risk of infection. But what if they ask to use the toilet? Err on the side of caution. The legal basis here is what is called unbroken pursuit. We don't want to disrupt the chain of evidence, which happens if we lose sight of the person. So using the toilet may depend on the offence, but if you accompany them, you also need to respect their privacy, and there can be an issue with unbroken pursuit. Also, a person can use the opportunity to remove evidence. So be careful, and if at all possible, wait until the police arrive. We're not providing a prison service, but just holding the person until the police arrive. You can see why it is so important to call the police as quickly as possible so that they can take over. The idea of unbroken pursuit means that we need to stay with them until they are handed over to the police. But what if they request to call a close relative for support? Unless the person is a minor or has an illness, either physical or mental, or an injury, then delay until the police arrive, because this can lead to further complications. For example, what if a crowd of supporters arrive? We need to treat the person humanely though, with care, and as far as reasonably practical, avoid offending any cultural values, religious beliefs, humiliation or embarrassment. Remember that different sites may have specific requirements and may not even have a provision for apprehending people. So it's critical that we're fully aware of what the property group requires and respect local police recommendations. We'll cover more on searches in a later session, but here's the basics. You cannot search a person or their baggage unless they allow it, and if possible, get a signed document allowing the search. Don't go rummaging through their things. Ask the person to show you the contents of their bags. Do all searches with another officer there too. But what if the person doesn't allow you to search them? Wait for the police to do any searching. And remember, never search someone of the opposite sex. And what if you're unsure? Again, wait for the police. In the meantime, collect evidence about the crime, but be careful to preserve the crime scene. This means recording details by making notes or taking photos of the area. Don't touch items or surfaces that the alleged offender may have touched. Keep the area isolated, perhaps restricting access by barricades if possible. Take notes about the incident while it's fresh in mind. But remember, we don't have the same authority or resources as the police, do we? So we just keep any evidence until they can collect and analyse it. What do you need to do? In summary, err on the side of caution, but provide basic human care and first aid. Stay with them for unbroken pursuit. Try to collect evidence without the crime scene being disturbed. Don't forget to complete the short test below, and hey, thanks again for joining us. One last thing, we'd love to hear your comments, so send us an email to feedback@learningsphere.com.au with your thoughts.